Captain's Log, Stardate 88385.3. We're diverting from our previous heading in response to a communication we've received from the League of Free Worlds. Apparently, a civilian vessel has been stolen from one of their stations, and the thief is reported near our position, sensing an opportunity for goodwill with the League. I've ordered an intercept course. In the meantime, I've also ordered some mandatory downtime for the crew.
In one of the Durandal's holodecks, Captain Alurka and Commander Wekala are engaged in a mix of sparring and calisthenics. Wekala seems to be particularly aggressive today.
I'm starting to suspect something's on your mind.
No, sir. Just the usual things.
I know what that means. Look, you know I can never properly apologize, but also, letting the anger eat away at you like this won't do you any favors either.
I think it serves as a potent motivator, don't you?
I see what you're getting at, and that's not necessarily wrong. But you can't let it dictate your decisions or even be a factor in them sometimes.
How do you do it, sir? How do you keep it under such control?
There's no easy answer to that. It's taken a lifetime of learning and understanding myself to get where I'm at. Things like, what happened with you certainly haven't made it easier. All I can say is it takes practice, and that no matter what, I'll always be here for you.
I see. Thank you, sir.
Also, you don't need to be so formal when we're alone.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry, I can't.
Someday you'll be able to say it to me without feeling embarrassed.
Perhaps.
I guess I'll have to take that.
The comm system activates.
Bridge to Captain, we're approaching the target vessel.
Understood. I'll be up there shortly. Guess we'll have to pick this up later, but think about it, all right?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I will.
Alurka and Wekala get changed and head to the bridge, arriving some minutes later.
Status?
The ship has entered a system ahead and dropped out of warp.
What system is that?
Unknown, Captain. It registers as unexplored, simply designated JX55423.
Not even a basic survey probe? This isn't how I expected to do our first act of exploration out here, but it'll have to do.
The Durandal drops out of warp as it enters the system.
All right, what do we have here?
Scanning now, sir. Curious. It's a binary star system. I'm only detecting a single planet, though, terrestrial type. It has only one moon.
A binary system with only one planet? That's unusual, isn't it?
It is, sir. Not unheard of, but certainly rare.
Well, whatever the cause, we'll have to figure that out later. Can you find the ship?
Stand by, sir. Found it. It's heading directly for the planet at full impulse.
Looks like a small civilian transport, about 50 meters long, minimal armaments.
Walker, plot an intercept course, and let's try to hail them.
Aye, sir. Opening comms.
Attention, unknown vessel. This is Captain Alurka of the USS Durandal, representing Starfleet. We've been informed of the theft of that vessel and request you heave to and stand by to be boarded.
The comm opens, and a Tholian answers the hail, taking much of the bridge crew by surprise. It's wearing an EV suit, hiding its face.
A Tholian?
Hello, Captain. I am Xantric. I apologize for making you chase me all the way out into nowhere. I assure you this is all a big misunderstanding. I would call it more a matter of disagreement over payment schedule.
Whatever the case, if you come to a halt, we'd be willing to discuss the situation with you.
Absolutely not. Sorry, Captain, I've heard of you Starfleet types. You'll tie me up for a week with paperwork and bureaucracy. Plus, this whole thing is outside your jurisdiction anyway.
Circuits behind the Tholian seem to explode from overloading. The signal becomes increasingly distorted as more damage spreads around the ship before it cuts out entirely.
What happened?
I'm registering overloads to a number of EPS conduits on that ship. Maybe it was pushed too hard and broke down?
Get us close enough to either tractor the ship or transport that Tholian off of it.
Are we even sure that was a Tholian? It acted nothing like any other we've encountered.
I didn't detect anything in the comm stream to indicate any kind of holographic disguise.
We've also only encountered them in combat situations. I agree, it's unusual, but we know so little about them. Maybe some of them actually have personalities beyond Purge the alien. I'm certainly wondering how it came into possession of a League ship, though.
Sir, the vessel is entering the atmosphere of the planet. I don't think we'll be able to reach it in time.
Great. Keep a sensor lock on it. I want to see where it lands. Hopefully it's sturdy enough to keep that Tholian alive.
The bridge crew can only watch as the ship plummets to the planet below in a fiery trail. When it hits, several of them flinch. A few minutes later, the Durandal pulls into orbit above.
Any life signs?
Impossible to tell. There's too much interference in the magnetosphere. We'll likely need to send a team down.
Very well. Prepare.
Sir,
What is it?
I'm running additional scans of the surface. There's life forms down there, sir. Sentient life forms. I'm detecting evidence of an entire civilization, and it's pre-warp.
Pre-warp? That means the Prime Directive is in effect.
Well, fuck.
A short while later, the senior staff head for the conference room. The display shows a readout of the planet below, with what little information has been gathered so far about it.
All right, there's a pre-warp civilization down here. How pre-warp are we talking?
As far as I can tell, they're approximately Bronze Age level. I've seen no signs of industrialization or even significant population density. The largest city on the planet is barely 100,000, with most settlements being only a few hundred on average. At a glance, their society appears to still be largely agrarian.
So we've got, say, ancient Sumerians down there. At least whatever contamination this whole incident might cause will hopefully be nothing more than vague legend by the time it really matters. What about the planet itself?
It's a binary system, specifically a Class M and a Class K. On their own, they're dimmer than average, but combined this planet gets significantly more solar energy than Earth, which has a tremendous impact on the local life. The sunlight on the surface will appear redder than most of us are used to, and plants will likely be more of a bluish hue. M-class stars are also very active when it comes to solar flares, so that's likely led to long-standing nomadic traditions among the local population. Additionally,
I appreciate the details, but please stick to the most relevant information.
Sorry, sir. I don't get to study this kind of environment very often.
I understand. It's fine, really. We're just on a time crunch right now. If we wrap this up quickly enough, I wouldn't say no to a full initial survey of the system, and I'll be happy to hear your full report then.
Oh, of course, sir. Thank you. The inhabitants are humanoid with some notable differences from us.
Strinala keys a command on the display, and it shows a rendering of one of the planet's inhabitants.
Owing to the environment, their skin is primarily blue in hue, and they have 6 fingers on each hand.
So, throwing on a cloak won't help much with passing incognito?
No, it wouldn't. Were we to interact with any of them, I think it would be best if whoever goes underwent surgical alterations to match their appearance.
Ugh, pass. That time I had to look like a Klingon. My eyebrows wouldn't stop growing for a month.
I thought they gave you a certain hobo charm.
Flatterer.
We'll decide who's going down in a minute. It does seem likely the ship crashing was observed by the locals, and some undoubtedly are making their way to it as we speak. If we go down as is, no doubt us being so alien in our appearance could cause a huge disturbance with unknowable repercussions. It'll mean longer to get down there, but I agree with the assessment that the away team should try to blend in as best they can. Devesh, what would that take?
Without detailed in-person scans of one or more of them, I can't be certain of any differences beyond the most cosmetic, but I believe it should be doable with a few hours of work.
We'll have to take it. Wakala, tactical report?
A team beaming down to the impact site, retrieving the Tholian, whatever condition it's in, and using spatial charges to vaporize the ship's remains should eliminate any significant traces of what crashed there. At most, there'll be a few fragments of mysterious metal left.
An oddity, and certainly explainable by being from space. I like it. All right, Devesh, we'll need you to treat the Tholian if needed. Even an arid environment will likely be fatally hostile to it if its EV suit is breached. Strinala, I'm sure having you along won't hurt with studying the environment if needed.
Yes.
Elliot, I'll need your expert eye to identify the best spots for placing the charges.
I bloody knew it.
Varia, I'll want you running Overwatch in case things take a turn.
6 fingers, huh? Bet that completely changes how you hold a knife.
And I'll lead the team. Those heading down report to sickbay immediately so we can start the surgery. Dismissed.
The officers leave the conference room, but Wakala remains with Alurka. She waits until everyone else has left before speaking.
Sir, I believe I should lead the team.
Eager for a taste of something like home?
That would be nice. But no, my concern is your safety.
A fair point. Either one of us could probably lead this mission effectively. But in case anything goes wrong, and especially where the Prime Directive is involved, no one should bear that except me. I don't want you to face any repercussions over that, particularly if I chose to sit back for it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your concern. I guess I was thinking about earlier, and maybe I wanted to try and prove myself to you.
Alurka places his hand on Wakala's shoulder.
You've already proven yourself to me 1,000 times over. Why do you think I keep you around as XO? I trust you with my life, with this ship and crew. Never doubt that, or feel like you ever need to convince me of that trust. You've more than earned it.
Thank you, sir.
Speaking of, you'll be in command while I'm gone. Don't let me down.
Of course not, sir.
I know you won't.
The team begins undergoing their surgical alterations in sickbay. Devesh supervises the process and is studying a holographic display of the alien biology.
The skin pigmentation will be easy enough, as will the ears. But the 6th finger will require some. Elliot, hold still. Your scalp is going to get torn open.
Sorry, it just really itches.
I'll sedate you if I have to.
Quit complaining so much.
I can't be the only one feeling completely ridiculous about this.
Looking completely ridiculous would be an improvement for you.
And here I thought only your knives were sharp.
All right, relax you two. This is serious business.
You have to admit, 6 fingers will feel bloody weird though.
True. Get your practice in while you can.
Sure, let me find a piano.
Come on, it's not that bad. We're getting to explore an entirely new culture. It's exciting.
It is. I'd just prefer to do something like this from orbit. But by all means, Strinala. Enjoy whatever hands-on experience you can get.
Thank you, I plan to.
All right. Enough banter for now. We need to start adding these extra fingers. If you want them to work right, I need to put all of you under.
Aw, can't I stay awake?
No, I doubt even you could handle that kind of pain.
Devesh proceeds to put each of the others under, and then herself, and the extra fingers are added to their hands. While they're unconscious, the medical staff makes the rest of the alterations. They all awake about an hour later, not quite feeling themselves.
There, how does it feel?
Unusual for sure, but we'll make do.
Bah, I wish I'd brought something sharp with me to practice with.
You can work on that once we beam down. Elliot, don't scratch at your scalp too much.
Yes. It feels fine now. I should probably avoid a mirror though.
Commander Wakala arrives and approaches Alurka.
All done, sir?
Nearly. We need clothing still.
Without enough time for a proper analysis of their culture, we'll have to mostly guess as to what constitutes appropriate clothing. Undoubtedly, there's all kinds of symbolism and meaning in the garb they wear, but we just don't have time to figure it out.
I'm sure you've done the best you can. Get the replicator going. Everyone get changed. We need to get down there.
Strinala begins to replicate clothing for everyone. In the meantime, Alurka and Wakala step aside to talk.
You understand the contingency plans?
Yes, sir. I'll keep the weapons ready in case we need to destroy the wreckage from orbit.
Good. A weird beam of light from the sky will be more easily forgotten than physical evidence of an alien starship. I want a brig cell prepped for Tholian physiology as well, in case its EV suit was damaged.
Understood. Do you think there'll be trouble down there?
I hope not, but you know how rarely these kinds of missions go according to plan. We'll have to see.
Of course, sir.
Alurka can tell things are still weighing on Wakala's mind.
You'll be fine up here. Like I said, you have nothing to prove to me.
Thank you. It's not that, actually. I guess I'm just questioning my own self-worth. After all these years, I can't seem to fully let it go. It makes me wonder if something's wrong with me.
Nothing's wrong with you. What I did was arguably unforgivable. The fact that you're willing to not only tolerate my presence but serve alongside me speaks volumes to your strength of character and capacity for forgiveness. You've chosen your family name well. It's my deepest held belief too, you know.
I do know. Sorry, sir. I don't know why I'm thinking about it so much lately.
Introspection comes on us when we least expect it, I've found. Never stop looking inwards. You'll always have something interesting to find, I promise.
Captain, your clothes are ready.
Guess I should get changed. You have the bridge, Commander.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
With that, a lurker heads for the replicator to get his clothing. Wicala seems to think about things for a moment, her expression one of contemplation before turning to exit. Meanwhile, on the surface, two of the local inhabitants of the world, who call themselves Tarnolians, are traveling across the wildlands towards the impact crater. One is an older woman dressed in finery of a sort, her scalp covered in tattoos that mark her out as a priestess of her people. The other is a younger man, wearing crude leather armor. Both are equipped for a journey across the sandy lands that surround them.
We should be there soon, shouldn't we?
I believe so, Priestess. I can't be sure without traveling ahead, however.
You and your protective nature, Onog. Feel free to do so.
You know I can't. My primary duty is your protection, not your convenience.
Yes. You do your job very well, Onog. For that, I am grateful. I just wish you'd understand I don't need nearly as much protection as you think I do.
I do understand, Priestess. Were you from a more venerated family line, I wouldn't worry nearly as much.
Bring up my family's dishonor, will you? Surely if I were of one of the more venerable lines that holds favor across the nation, I would have a dozen retainers like you, not just one.
I meant no disrespect. I sought only to highlight the fact that you are not as protected by your position as others in the priesthood.
Of course you did not. I appreciate your loyal service regardless of my standing. But you understand, that is all the more reason for me to follow the signs of this starfall, yes?
Yes, I understand, Priestess. If it does indeed adhere to the prophecy, the fame you will accumulate as its herald will likely restore your line. I am happy to lend my assistance.
I wish I could discern how much of your devotion is simply adherence to your duty, and how much is you actually wanting to serve me personally. Ha! Perhaps it is more personal than I thought. That in of itself is a comfort for which I thank you.
I am glad to please you, Priestess.
And someday I will get you to address me by my actual name too. Netaru. It is not that complex to say, is it?
No, it is not Netaru.
See? You should trust me in all things. Now come. We must reach the Starfall before any of King Samuel's sycophants do. If it is what I think it is, then it must receive the proper obeisance, and not simply be used for petty territorial gains.
Of course. Let us continue then.
Excellent.
Soon after, the away team beams down, hoping to do so in a manner that avoids attention. Fortunately, they seem to do so, arriving near the still cooling wreckage of the crashed starship. Once the transport is complete, they begin to move in on the wreckage as stealthily as possible. The away team approaches the wreckage of the starship and immediately begins to analyze it. Although some parts are still burning from re-entry, most of the wreckage appears to be approachable without issue. The team spreads out and begins to analyze the best means of destroying the wreckage.
We're definitely not getting this thing to take off again, given how many pieces it's in. Elliot, what will it take to vaporize what's left with the spatial charges?
Not much, Captain. Luckily, it's broken into several distinct sections, and each will be easy enough to destroy with the charges. The warp core's already been smashed apart, and what's left of the antimatter storage will help with erasing that part of the ship.
Excellent. Start placing the charges where they'll be most effective. Get Varia's help.
We still need to find the Tholian, Captain.
I was just getting to that. You and Strinala, spread out and conduct a search for it. I'd assume it's somewhere in the bridge area, but maybe it's moved around.
Aye, sir.
The officers begin performing their assigned tasks, while a lurker studies the area, looking for signs of recent visitation. Seeing none, he follows after Strinala and Devesh, who eventually locate the Tholian.
Status?
It's injured but alive, Captain. Strinala, help me out here.
The two officers work to stabilize the Tholian and repair its EV suit, Fortunately, Devesh's experience in xenobiology aids her in being able to stabilize the Tholian's injuries, and it seems to begin waking up.
Whoa, where am I?
Right now, you're on the surface of an unexplored world you crashed onto. This world also happens to be home to a pre-warp civilization.
Is that bad or something?
Yes, that's bad. It's the Federation's Prime Directive to not interfere with the natural development of civilizations like this.
Oh dear, I'm sorry for that.
Save it. We're going to blow up your ship to eliminate any trace of it, then beam you aboard our vessel. From there, we'll figure out what to do with you.
I guess I'm in no position to argue. My legs are numb. I feel so cold.
That's probably because your EV suit was breached and you were in the process of freezing to death. Don't try to move. We've stabilized you for now, but we need to get you back on the Durandal.
A Starfleet vessel. I've always been curious to see one in person, though not like this. Do you... Oh.
Alerka, Devesh, and Strinala turn at the sound of movement behind them. At a distance of about 50 yards, they see Nataru and Onod sliding into the impact crater, looks of wonder upon their faces.
Uh-oh.
On the bridge of the Durandal, Commander Wekala is studying new information gleaned about the planet below as it comes in. Lieutenant Jones and a Lukari ensign approach her. The Lukari appears extremely nervous.
Pardon us, Commander.
What is it?
While we wait for developments below or new orders from the captain, Timare and I were wondering if we can conduct a small experiment.
What kind of experiment?
I've noticed some irregularities in the protomatter relays for our beam arrays. It might be, residual damage from those parasites we dealt with. But I think we can correct that.
Will it affect our weapons?
Each array will be offline while we work on the relays, but otherwise I don't anticipate any impact. It should take maybe a few hours total.
Very well, go ahead. And Ensign?
Yes, ma'am?
Relax. You look like you're going to break something with the way you're standing.
Right, sorry.
Licia and Timare begin to walk away.
Wow, if the commander is telling you to relax, you really need to take it easy.
I heard that, and she's right.
The two of them enter the turbolift.
Sorry, I'm just still trying to get used to all this. A year ago, I'd never even left my homeworld, and now I'm seeing a new system almost every week. I never served in the military or went to the academy, so it's not like I have the kind of training you all do for handling this. And to be fair, the captain and commander are very intimidating, even when they're not trying to be.
That's just their confidence. Believe me, I've known them for years. They're much easier going than they look. Well, Alerka is anyway, but Wekala is just firm. It's Varia you should be afraid of.
I am.
Even with her, though, just do your job and you'll have nothing to worry about.
That I can handle.
Besides, you've enjoyed your time with us, haven't you?
I have. Nervousness aside, it's been incredible.
Good, I'm glad. You just need to make more friends on the ship and it'll help you feel more comfortable in no time.
That seems easier said than done. I feel like I grew up completely isolated compared to everyone else here.
Maybe. I grew up in an underground vault and never even saw the sky until I was 18 or so. I totally understand where you're coming from.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Trust me, getting to be on a Starfleet vessel, even as a guest, is the chance of a lifetime. Embrace it.
I will. Thank you.
The turbolift arrives at their destination.
After we finish this, though, come on.
Back on the surface, the away team emerges from the wreckage before the Tarnolians can find Xantrik. The two groups stare at each other for a long, awkward moment. The only sounds are a gentle breeze and the stirring of the sands. Luckily, the Tarnolians seem more confused and curious than afraid, and Alerka takes a step towards them, arms extended outwards in a gesture of non-hostility.
Guess the universal translator needs some help.
This is our first encounter with the language. It needs more reference before it can work like normal.
No one do anything hostile. Let's try to keep them talking so we have a chance to communicate.
Isisak, anukob majo kila awasapa. Awsapanut awad noijok.
Fodab. Akotan au zakiawina nikainaw. Inizawab mauki kota wakapa.
Strinala, how long does it take for the UT to start figuring things out?
Since they're humanoids, a few more sentences may be enough for it to start working. Having a full conversation will take longer, though.
I hope it kicks in soon.
Alurka notes how the two aliens still sound more curious than angry, for which he's glad. Their body language is tense, but not aggressive. He takes another step forward.
We mean you no harm.
Imam am inahok netaru, isimutum of ugnuim akap, iwi and you.
I think it's finally starting to work. I assume we need more, though.
Sir, can I try talking to them?
Why?
The translator is only picking up some of their words, but I think I can figure out the rest. I know 19 different languages, you know. I can sense some of the patterns in what they're saying.
More languages than me, that's for sure. Give it a try.
Devesh steps forward and attempts to speak to Netaru and Onog. Alurka can see the perspiration of nervousness on her brow.
Asin amanut anuka arahdam, isis in irifasaw.
Irifasaw akutuk where? Itufal yo in is ubaja.
Ako temut ilabem.
Priestess, Inadis Amak, trust them?
It's working. Keep going, Devesh.
Devesh, age your name.
Ilerk inoyi.
Holly unusual name. What about Inan of you?
Devesh gestures towards Alurka.
This is Alurka, our leader. We have traveled from far away, and I serve as interpreter.
I see. That would explain your clothing and mannerisms. How did you know of the starfall then?
Devesh turns to Alurka, consigning herself to act as an interpreter, even if the universal translator seems to be working now. The others gather. They speak in low voices between themselves to ensure Netaru can't hear.
I suppose she has a point. If we traveled here from far away, it's odd that we were able to arrive so quickly.
Maybe we just happen to be close by?
That's probably about the best we can do.
This counts as making first contact, doesn't it?
I guess it does.
Hooray for us then. So much for a stealthy in and out.
On the Durandal, Licia and Timare are working on one of the protomatter relays.
Okay, hand me the microcaliper, please.
Licia hands Timare the tool.
So what do you like to do for fun?
What?
Besides working on our protomatter systems, what else do you like to do with your time?
Oh, sometimes I read about some of the worlds we visit. A lot of the time I stay in my quarters. I like the alone time to process everything that happens during the day.
You don't socialize much with the crew?
Not really, is that bad?
Not at all. You're an introvert. I get it, so am I. Some nights there's nothing I want to do more than just curl up with a good book in my quarters. Careful, you're going to over-torque.
Oh, sorry.
Timare hands the tool back and begins working with another.
But sometimes having fun with others is rewarding too. The nice thing about a ship like this, with all we've been through, it's like a family in a lot of ways. I've really valued those bonds.
It does sound appealing when you put it like that.
And you know, there's certain kinds of fun you can't have alone.
Like what?
Like...
An alarm suddenly goes off, and sparks begin shooting from the relay. Timare gives a cry of surprise and scrambles back.
Come on, we gotta get out of here.
Licia reaches out her hand and pulls Timare towards the door before the blast shield drops. The alarms continue and the lights around them flicker. A moment later, they receive a call from Commander Wakala.
Bridge to Jones. What's going on down there? We're getting power fluctuations across half the saucer section.
I'm sorry, Commander. I was using the optic drill and went too far, causing a protomatter leak.
It's my fault, ma'am. I was distracting her.
With what?
With personal conversation.
You probably shouldn't do that when messing with something that can blow half the ship up in an instant. You're lucky the safety backups kicked in before that happened.
I understand, ma'am. It won't happen again.
Can you get the relay repaired?
Licia looks at Timare expectantly.
I don't know, Commander.
What's the problem?
I think it's more a matter of confidence than physical ability.
To the surprise of both women, Wakala's voice is quite calm.
Timar, look, you made an honest mistake. Anyone could have done that. But no one was hurt, so it's not a big deal. You know how to fix the relay, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Good. Just take it slow and let Jones help you. I believe you can do it.
Thank you.
Let us know if you need any additional help. Bridge out.
See? Nothing to worry about. Come on, let's get back in there.
All right.
They raise the blast shield and head back inside. Focused entirely on their task, the two of them are able to restore the power relay to full functionality in a matter of minutes.
There we go.
Wakala hails them again.
Bridge to Jones and Timari. Looks like everything is back to normal. Good work, you two.
Thank you, ma'am. Jones out. Good job, Timari.
Licia holds her hand up, but Timare looks at her in confusion.
Oh, it's a human gesture called a high five. We slap our open hands together as a means of celebration.
I see.
Timare raises her hand and slaps it against Licia, who staggers back.
Ow! I forgot how strong Lucari are, but that was good. Now come on, let's get the rest of these relays fixed up. Then we're going to the mess hall. Have you ever had ice cream?
No, but I've heard of it.
Oh, you're in for a delightful experience. Duty first, though. You got this?
Yeah, I've got this.
While the away team talks quietly, Netaru and Onog confer as well. The wind continues to blow gently, carrying a scent of smoke from the parts of the wreckage that are still burning quietly.
Are you sure we can trust them?
I think so. Look at their clothing and the way they act. They clearly are not agents of King Samil. In fact...
Netaru pulls out a tome from her bag and begins to leaf through it. She quickly skims several pages.
The Book of the Twin Gods? Is this the time for that?
If the Starfall truly does pertain to the prophecy of the eclipse, then they might be the heralds of the champion. It would certainly explain their oddness.
I mean, no disrespect, priestess, but surely we cannot simply trust an old prophecy.
We cannot ignore the possibility of it being true either. One way or another, this is the key for me, and I will see it through. Besides, I have you to protect me, do I not?
You do.
Good. Stay aware of treachery. Your eye for that is far better than mine.
Meanwhile, the away team continues their own discussion.
I think the easiest solution would be to simply kill them and destroy the bodies with the ship. No risk of cultural contamination.
We can't just murder them for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And we won't. We maintain our cover and do what we can to blend in. There has to be a way we can make our appearance here as natural as possible. The woman, she seemed to be the leader of the two.
I thought I heard the male address her as priestess. It stands to reason there's at least one major religion among the people here. She probably has a notable level of influence.
Maybe. If she was truly important, I would think she would have come out here with a larger retinue. Or there's other politics at play.
We should talk to them some more then, and get additional information.
Good call. We're probably starting to look suspicious. Come on.
The away team turns towards the two Tarnolians. Devesh and Alurka step forward again. Netaru puts her book away and tries to keep her face neutral.
I believe my earlier question has not yet been answered.
Devesh turns to Alurka.
We need something to go with.
We'll get to it in a minute. I think we can get away with being a little suspicious ourselves. Try to get more information out of them.
Devesh turns back to Netaru.
We could ask you the same thing. Why is a priestess the first one to arrive here?
Netaru stiffens at the statement.
I do not know how affairs are conducted in the land you come from, but here, the priesthood is free to move about as it sees fit. I believe the Starfall has religious significance, and so I am here to determine if that is true.
Significance in what way?
In that it is one of the signs of the prophecy of the eclipse.
Devesh looks at Alurka.
That seems like a significant clue, sir.
Indeed it does. Maybe we can play into that angle, see if you can learn more about it.
Devesh faces Netaru again. Before she can speak, the priestess interrupts.
Perhaps we should speak directly. Alurka, was it? I do not think there is a need for the charade of an interpreter. I can see in your face that you understand me.
Alurka sighs and steps forward, holding his hands out apologetically.
My apologies. You took us by surprise, and I thought it would be a way for me to gather my thoughts for a minute. Thank you, Devesh.
Devesh nods at Alurka and steps back.
I promise our intentions are not hostile. And forgive my ignorance of your customs. As Devesh said, we have traveled far. Perhaps you can tell me a bit about yourself.
Very well. I am a priestess of the twin gods above.
Netaru gestures towards the two suns in the sky, although at the moment, their alignment makes it seem as if there's only one.
This is Onog, my assigned protector.
Alurka and Onog nod at each other in greeting.
And you are standing on what is potentially now holy ground.
If I may also ask, I suspect you should have more protectors than just Onog here.
Onog stiffens and takes a step towards Alurka, reaching for a knife at his belt. Netaru holds out a hand and he stops.
I should, yes. My family has fallen out of favor of late, but the Starfall will help me restore that honor.
I understand the drive to protect one's family. Your position as a priestess is hereditary?
It is. Most roles in society are they not in yours?
Generally, no. Individuals are free to pursue whatever role they wish.
Nataru and Ono glance at each other in confusion.
That sounds chaotic.
It can be, yes.
I do not mean to be rude, but my original question still has not been answered. How did you know of the starfall and arrive so quickly?
We were traveling from distant lands and happened to be close by when it came down. Such a sight is so unusual, we felt compelled to investigate. And so, here we are.
I suspect there is more to your story than that. But if you are not hostile and will not interfere with my work, then I shall permit you to stay.
I'm not sure staying here is wise, but perhaps we can figure out a compromise.
You seek to bar my path? I can have...
Nataru suddenly stops speaking, and Alurka turns as he hears a clanking sound echoing off the hull of the ship.
What is that?
Alurka can see Xantric has apparently recovered enough to stand up and is stumbling over some of the wreckage of the ship. Everyone is merely staring at it.
What?